Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Man, it has been a interesting, it's one adjective to use, a few weeks there on Airline Drive with the New Orleans Saints. Our buddy Sean Fazande's good enough to join us now for a couple of minutes. Sean, we always appreciate you, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing awesome, man. Let me start. Since you and I haven't had a chance to chat a bit, can I get your reaction to the decision to retain Dennis Allen and move on from Pete Carmichael?
I wasn't surprised. You just got to understand the way the Saints operate, the way Mickey Loomis operates. It would have taken a lot for them to move on from Dennis Allen. And had they had kind of finished out that season on a low note, and they said they won 4 out of 5, they would have had to have been forced to fire Dennis Allen. And with the finish that they had, clearly, well, at least I was of the thinking that he was going to survive and come back for a third season. So that certainly did not surprise me at all, especially just given the nature of how the organization operates and given what the Saints had done for the last 5 weeks of the season. Now, the Pete Carmichael situation was certainly something that he could have gone either way just because of the way the season ended. Like I said, not just for the team, but also offensively as well, where they certainly played better to close out the season. Just took too long for them to get to that point. Took too long for the chemistry to develop. Took too long to figure out red zone, play action, those types of things. And then at its best, Derek Carr and Pete Carmichael, who, as we're learning in the playoffs, man, we're learning this in the playoffs right now, how much the synergy between play caller and quarterback matters. At its absolute best, is it ever going to be good enough to be in the same league as some of these guys that are playing right now? And over the last, 2 weeks, obviously, with the wild card in the divisional round. So they made the decision to move on from Pete Carmichael. Look, that was not an easy decision, not just because of the season that they had, but also this guy has done a lot for the organization. He was not a failure by any stretch of the imagination. But like anything, it kind of ran its course. In 18 years in one spot as an assistant, that's an eternity in the NFL. So now now the journey begins to find the new play caller, and obviously it's probably the most important hire DA is going to make.
Sean, I don't know if you know this answer, but someone asked me, and I couldn't think of anyone else. Is Pete Carmichael the longest tenured Saints assistant ever? I can't think of anybody that's been an assistant coach in New Orleans more than 18 years.
Ooh, I'd have to go back and look. As an assistant coach, I'd be hard pressed to find another one that's been there longer than 18 consecutive seasons. Yeah. Obviously, Mickey's been there since the start of the 2000s. 2000 as the assistant, and I guess 01 or 02 he took over from Mueller. But I can't think of another assistant coach that had been there for that long a period of time consecutively the way he has.
Sean, is Mickey Loomis untouchable?
Probably.
No.
Yeah, probably. I don't think he would ever really get fired from that spot he's in. I don't think the organization would do that because of the track record of the success that he had. Obviously, when he had Sean Payton from 2006 through 2021, it would probably be more of a situation where they would let him retire or let him move into a different role and not as much of a day-to-day guy as opposed to firing him. I don't see a situation where they would do that, because I don't think Loomis would ever get to that point in terms of if it were bad enough, he would probably voluntarily bow out or retire or move on to a different position within the organization. He's about as near as untouchable. I hate that term, but yeah, I do think I don't expect that to happen. I do think he's as near as untouchable as possible in the NFL.
He's on Twitter at Sean Fazande, Fox 8. Give him a follow. All right, let's talk about OC and who replaces Pete Carmichael. Sean, we know Dan Pitcher, Zach Robinson, Shane Waldron, and now the word today about Gerard Johnson. Those are the four that the Saints have interviewed or requested interviews. Shane Waldron has reportedly taken the job with the Bears, so he's off. Before I get a reaction to any of those, are there any other names that you know of or are hearing that could be in the mix here?
Not enough to get to start the actual interview process. I'm not sure. I mean, there's been conjecture of certain names, but nothing in terms of concrete requests for interviews that may or may not be a fit. But those are I guess, would be 4 names, and obviously one's now certainly out of the race. All pretty much young guys, those 3 guys you mentioned. I think they're all under the age of 40. And I think all of those guys would be first-time play callers, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of just where they're at in their respective careers. And, of course, the one commonality that really ties them all is the fact that they're all from the McVay Shanahan coaching tree, which is obviously taken over. That style of offense is taken over the NFL right now. So, yeah, it doesn't shock me at all that they would be picking from that tree. And those are the 3 names. The 3 names left I'm talking about, not Waldron, obviously, because he took the Bears job, but those are the 3 names so far. Wouldn't be shocked, though, if over the next couple of days you hear a few more names pop up in terms of the interview process.
What about an in-house guy like Ronald Curry? I'm surprised his name hasn't been talked about more openly.
Yeah, I was asked about him today. I think they'll give him a look. The problem with that is, Matt, they had multiple opportunities to turn to him during the season when things got rocky, and they never did. And they kind of let Pete Carmichael kind of work his way through there and was able to certainly figure it out by the end of the season. And now obviously he's gone, but Ronald Curry's from the same coaching tree, if you will, learning under Pete Carmichael. But yeah. I do know he's respected. I know Derek Carr's talked about him a lot positively this season. So I do think he'll be someone that they look at. I don't know if I would consider him the favorite for the job, but I do think he's someone that they would take a serious look at.
Sean, what about 2 other guys that we're hearing? I mean, John Gruden is one for obvious reasons. I mean, the Saints have reportedly even spoken to him when they were down in Tampa, and he was with them in camp. And then there was a report today that Chip Kelly could be a target to be an OC in the NFL again. Do either of those names, you feel, have any traction to them?
I would say probably Gruden more than Kelly. I hadn't seen that Chip Kelly report. Man, he's a guy that's obviously reached the top of the coaching ranks, obviously, in college football. So that would be an interesting name to certainly follow. The Gruden thing, look, he's been around since training camp. He was a guy that was around well before he got involved in any of the controversy years ago when Sean Payton was here. I remember coming to Saints camp almost every year when he was just doing the ESPN thing. So he was always around the organization. Obviously, he comes with some baggage, but I do think he's got a track record with Derek Carr, and he's a name. And he's got a bit of a presence in terms of just, him. John Gruden, he's got a presence, and I'm not sure that they have that type of presence on his coaching staff, which may be a little bit of an issue with kind of way that things have fallen off a little bit or kind of stayed stale a little bit over the last couple of seasons. But I do think that that's something that's certainly an option, Gruden. I haven't heard much about the Chip Kelly thing, but the Gruden thing is certainly something to monitor, and obviously he's trying to get his career back on track. So, yeah, I think that would certainly be an option as well.
Yeah. On Twitter, at Sean Fazende, Fox 8, if you want to give him a follow. What about a timeline, Sean? Any idea when they want to have this thing wrapped up?
Yeah, I was asked about that earlier today. You got to understand Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen, particular Mickey, it can be painfully patient sometimes. And if they have guys that they're looking at that are still playing right now, obviously that could certainly delay the process in terms of not just the interview, but obviously naming a candidate. I would think near the Super Bowl in that window to have an offensive coordinator on staff, or at least someone that they are honing in on to be a part of the staff. I'm not sure how much longer you can linger into the off season without that, crucial position when you talk about, free agents and drafting and all that coming up behind that. So I would think that's the window sometime early February. But man, Mickey Loomis did make a point to us in his end of year press conference that they're going to be very deliberate in that process. And, they're going to take their time. So we'll see what happens. But I guess just enjoy the process until it plays itself out.
Sean, I appreciate you doing the interview without chewing gum.
Man, what was up with that, huh?
You tell me, man. You were there.
Look, man, I have covered Mickey Loomis, that end of year press conference, every year for, the last 13, 14 years. He was fidgety. He was kind of moving in his seat. He had like this nervous energy. He was smacking that gum. And it was just unlike him. I've just never seen him in that sort of approach to that end of year press conference. Usually it's pretty bland, it's pretty, doesn't really say a whole lot, but he just kind of had an interesting kind of vibe about him, and it certainly caught everyone's attention. And then the gum smacking, it was uncomfortable, man. It was weird. So he said he had a cough. I hope that was the case, but it was an interesting day for sure.
On Twitter at Sean Fazende, Fox 8. Y'all give him a follow. Sean, we always appreciate you, man. Thanks for a couple of minutes.
All right, but I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.